Our state has experienced one soul-crushing crisis after another over the past few years. But even during these trying times, the fighting spirit of Georgia has prevailed. We've seen what's possible when we stand up for our neighbors and protect each other. We've made sacrifices. We've pitched in. We've seen each other's fights as our own, and we've done things we never thought we could. It is in the spirit of that endurance and that persistence that I decided again to run for governor. Look, I got into this race for one reason and one reason only, to fight. And not just any fight, a fight to save Georgia. A fight on behalf of our children and generations to come. A fight on behalf of our people, whether they know it or not. A fight for basic human rights that we should take for granted, but we have to struggle to hold on to. And a fight for the values that we hold dear and we may never sacrifice. I got into this for a fight for what we know to be true deep down in our bones, that the state of Georgia, the people of Georgia, deserve more. Over the last year, in big cities and small towns, in living rooms, in classrooms across the state, I have met thousands of people face to face. It feels like 2.3 million. And here's what I know for sure. We come from different backgrounds, different religions, speak different languages. We have different dreams, and we feel passionate about different issues in very different ways. But despite our differences, despite what people will tell us separates us, for the most part, we want the same things. We want to live in a Georgia that works for everyone. A Georgia where every person has a voice in our democracy and doesn't have to show up early to make it so. Because voting is a fundamental right, not a privilege for the wealthy few. A Georgia where we can all breathe clean air and drink clean water because we decided to use our power to fix our climate and save our planet, not drill down to take titanium out and spoil what we have in the state of Georgia. A Georgia where hope lives in the heart of every child, but it sits there, rests there along with opportunity because we invested in quality public education, a pathway to a life full of dignity, and no shooters in their schools. A Georgia where every person can not only afford to see a doctor, but there's a hospital if they need one. They can get their prescriptions filled because drug companies and insurance companies aren't able to block it, and because we've expanded Medicaid because 500,000 Georgians deserve access to health care in this state. That is why we fight. I am talking about the Georgia of our greatest imagination. And here's what gives me hope. Over the last year across this great state, countless Georgians were ready to come off the sidelines and fight for that Georgia. Standing behind me is one of the most extraordinary women I have ever known. From the moment I got into politics, I have always promised to level with the people of Georgia. And I am here to tell you that what we have architected in this state does not end today. And this woman is one of the reasons why. Lauren Growargo is our champion. She is our friend, and she deserves our praise and our thanks because this is the Georgia she's helping us build. I'm here because my friend Allegra Lawrence Hardy is one of the fiercest attorneys you will ever meet. And she has poured her heart and her soul and her time and her treasure to defending our rights and our democracy, and she will never be demeaned for doing for us what we can't do on our own. Thank you, Allegra Lawrence Hardy. I see in this crowd women and men who have been a part of this journey since I put my name on a ballot in 2006. And while I may not have crossed the finish line, that does not mean we will ever stop running for a better Georgia. We will never stop running for the truth that we know to be true, for the people we know need to see us, for the ones who don't know they deserve to stand, let alone run. And tonight, we must be honest, even though our fight for the governor's mansion may have come up short, I'm pretty tall. And I am here because this is a moment where despite every obstacle, we are still standing strong and standing tall and standing resolute and standing in our values. And we know Georgia deserves more. And whether we do it from the governor's mansion or from the streets, whether we do it from the Capitol or from our communities, we are going to fight for more for the state of Georgia. That is what we're here for. That is our obligation. That is our responsibility. Now, tonight I am doing what is clearly the responsible thing. I am suspending my campaign for governor. You love your state? I love you too. I may no longer be seeking the office of governor, but I will never stop doing everything in my power to ensure that the people of Georgia have a voice. You see, when I decided to run for governor, there were a lot of decisions I needed to make. But the first choice I made was to put the people at the heart of my campaign. That is why I am proud that over the last year, we have shaken the hands and hugged thousands of people, and y'all know how I feel about hugs. We are a campaign that not only hired canvassers, we hired outreach directors because we knew we couldn't ask for your vote when you were trying to find a death certificate for your family members. That we couldn't ask.
We're here. Thank you guys and congratulations. I know you all have worked incredibly hard over the last few months, and I look forward to working with each of you over the next 4 years to keep our state moving in the right direction. And all the hard-working Georgians across the state who came out to our bus stops, our rallies, our meet and greets, those who helped Lucy fill up our diesel fuel can. You remember at the bus stop when Lucy was holding the diesel fuel can, and we told you at those stops all across this state, we got all the money we need. It's just in your pocket. And I appreciate y'all supporting the girls with your contributions, but also just appreciate the strong grassroots supporters that we've had literally from Claxton to Calhoun. And finally, I just want to thank the campaign staff and our official staff for all the wood that they have chopped over the last several months. We love y'all. As you all know, we did not get distracted on this hard-fought campaign. Just like we have stayed focused on putting you first throughout my first term. We woke up every single day talking about how to build a safer, stronger Georgia for you and your family, and help your family fight through Joe Biden's 40-year high inflation. And we did that by focusing on common sense solutions to put more of your hard-earned tax dollars back in your pocket, like passing the largest state income tax cut in history, returning over $1 billion back to you, the taxpayers, and suspending the gas tax in this state since March. And we are not about to stop there. Come January 2023, we're going to send another $1 billion back to the taxpayer. And we're also going to give you relief on your property taxes as well. But we also focused on how resilient Georgia's economy has been despite the disaster we're seeing in Washington, D.C. and across the country thanks to Joe Biden. But in Georgia, that's right. But in Georgia, we have record low unemployment. The most people ever working in the history of our state. Historic investment in rural Georgia. And the two largest job projects in state history were announced just in the last year. But this campaign was also about keeping you and your families safe, and by backing our men and women in law enforcement. Continuing our fight against gangs and human trafficking, and standing up to the pro-criminal, anti-law enforcement policies of the far left. And it was also about making sure our kids recover from pandemic learning loss and get the best education they can in a safe, welcoming environment, free from politics or divisive ideologies. As long as I'm your governor, we are going to continue to stand with our educators and put our students and our parents first. And as you all know, we took our campaign to voters who normally don't support Republicans, because no matter where you live or what neighborhood you are from, hardworking Georgians want their families safe, their streets safe, and they want good paying jobs and a quality education for their children. Our message to voters was about making sure they had the opportunity to achieve the American dream right here in the Peach State, no matter their zip code. Each day of this race, we talked about how Marty, the girls, and I think we live in the best state in the country to live, work, and raise our families. And we all know that my opponent disagreed. But looking at the results tonight, we made sure that Stacey Abrams is not going to be our governor or your next president. The people in this room and hardworking Georgians all across our state know these last 4 years have not been easy. Because of a global pandemic, loved ones were lost, jobs were cut, businesses struggled, and lives were uprooted. Nearly overnight, Americans from all walks of life were made to feel anxious, maybe even frightened for their future, their family's future, and the future of our country. This was an unprecedented challenge we had never faced before. There was no playbook. There was no widely accepted path forward. No silver bullet that could bring back our normal way of life. On top of that, you add in the 2020 election, pandemic politics, and a lot of people that didn't live here or vote here thinking they knew what was best for our state. At one point or another, the national media, Stacey Abrams, the healthcare pundits, far-left activists, liberal donors, presidents, both current and former, they all were attacking Georgia. They opposed our measured approach to protecting both lives and livelihoods. According to the pundits and the so-called experts, if you wanted to keep your barber shop open, you were a threat to public health. If you didn't want a government forcing you or your family to get vaccinated against your will, you were part of the problem. If you wanted to keep your job as a waitress at a local restaurant, they told you that it was too dangerous. If you wanted to go worship in a church, they said no. But you could go gamble in a casino. When parents wanted their kids back in the classroom instead of behind a screen, they listened to the National Teachers Union and the healthcare pundits who said no. But as you know, they didn't stop there. When we expanded days of early voting and made it easier to vote and hard to cheat with Senate Bill 202, Georgia's Election Integrity Act,
of my state. I'm a proud son of Georgia. And I'm grateful for all the work that you all are putting in. And I'll say more later, so I'm going to try to defy Baptist preacher gravity and not talk too long. But listen, we always knew that this race would be close. And so here, that's where we are. So y'all just hang in there. I'm feeling good. I do. I feel good. And just hang in there and enjoy one another. I'm with you. And we know how much is at stake in this election. So thank you for being with me, and I'm grateful that we are together every step of the way. And if you can hang in here for just a little while longer, we'll come back and say some more. But in the meantime, I'm going to say to you what I say to my church every Sunday. Keep the faith and keep looking up.
All right, and you heard Raphael Warnock right there. So the thing Lori and I were just talking about, over 3.6 million votes cast, and right now just 16,000 votes separate the two. The way it's going right now, it looks like this race will go to a runoff, and that runoff would happen 4 weeks from tonight between Herschel Walker and Raphael Warnock.
Now for the governor's race, you heard from both Stacey Abrams and Brian Kemp. Brian Kemp, the winner there, he gets another 4 years in office, 54% of the vote, and he will continue on for 4 more years.
And U.S. House District 2, this was a race that went back and forth all night long. Sanford Bishop's been in office a long time, his toughest challenge in a while, but he has turned back that challenge with Bishop leading now with just about all the votes counted by over 22,000 votes. So Sanford Bishop will remain in office. I think that's about all the results we have for you this evening. Of course, you can continue to watch the results. There'll be more coming your way on 13 WMAZ tomorrow morning.
And you can also watch online and on your streaming devices. All you need to do, download the 13 WMAZ Plus app on your Roku and Amazon devices. You can watch on your phone by downloading the 13 WMAZ app. We appreciate you staying with us for our midterm elections 2022.